I asked you the other day how you look at people with power and, more importantly, what your expectations of those people are. And there's a lot in your responses that I went over. Some of you talked about how you equate power with wealth. Others talked about how you respect people with power, even if they don't respect you. Two of you seem to be talking about superpowers. One of you mentioned flying. That isn't the kind of power we're talking about, but it didn't hurt your answers too much to think of it that way. Emily said that having power means being able to do whatever you want without hesitation. And sometimes that's true. But you have to ask yourself, is that moment of hesitation where people without power decide what's right and wrong? Christian said that people with power should be hard on others, but always fair. I think we should all always try and be fair. Alexis said that no matter how people got their power, they had to work themselves through hell to get where they are, and that he expects them to use their power to lead us into a better world. I think that's a nice way of thinking of it. Lisa said it doesn't really matter to her, but she figures most people with power usually have bad power, but she expects that they could still do good with it if they choose to do so. Gabe put it oddly well when he said that his expectation of people with power is simply that they try and make the right choices. And in that way, I think our expectation of people with power is the same as my expectation for all of you. And yours for me. And all of ours for the people we surround ourselves with every single day. Try and make the right choices. Just try. It might not be easy, but just try anyway. And that's where we're at with Caesar Augustus. Did Caesar Augustus try and make the right choices? In the wake of Julius Caesar's death, Augustus formed a three-headed power structure with Mark Antony and Marcus Lepidus to destroy the assassins of Julius Caesar. Once the men had power, though, their competing desires caused the structure to fall apart, leading to the death of Antony and Lepidus and the meteoric rise of Octavian, who would become Augustus. Augustus had to betray his friends, destroy the republic he grew up in, and thoroughly intimidate and dominate the people he ruled over to gain enough power to create the Rome he dreamed of. And it was quite a dream. Do you remember how the artists and writers of the Renaissance looked back over 1,000 years to idolize the Roman artists and writers? Those people lived in this time. They thrived in the world that Augustus created. Remember Virgil, Dante's Guide Through Hell, and famous ancient Roman poet? He was known as an Augustan poet, because much of his work was created during Augustus's rise to power. Virgil's most famous work, the Aeneid, it was probably commissioned by Augustus himself. In the world that Augustus created, there were advances in arts and literature, science, medicine, and architecture. When you picture famous Roman buildings and monuments, you're almost definitely picturing things built in or influenced by the Augustan period. And Augustus's visionary leadership started the period known as Pax Romana, the Roman peace, a stretch of nearly 200 years where Rome was always expanding, but never seriously threatened by war, in part because they were the ones attacking and conquering other people. It's a complicated legacy, but like I know said in her answer, some people with power are nice, and some can be cruel. Some can use their power for good, and some can use it for bad. My expectation is that people with power will do much more than others. And Augustus certainly did much more than anyone else. And so did our next famous man of power, the leader of the Mongol hordes, Genghis Khan. Check out our next Ed Puzzle, and I'll talk to you soon.